we're getting the sad shake of the head over here. All right,
my
first things first.
handcrafted artisanal dad jokes. Yeah.
First things first. We are now an affiliate on Twitch. Make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and give us a cheer. It helps the tavern. It helps the stream. You can look at the old videos at the YouTube channel. Make sure you give a thumbs up. Ring the bell for notifications. Moving along. We are going to lightly brush the nuts and bolts of ecology descriptors, and let's talk about a bit the pyramids of giants with giant kin. Now, there are some very small giants, and there are some very tall giants. Now, when I say small, I mean something on the order of starting in the 8 to 9 foot range, and that's the Verbeeg. That's the smallest.
The first one.
Just pull the slider down.
The slider, the black one.
Slider.
Yep.
Is it still humming as it sits there? Nice. Sorry, we're working out the electrics of the tube amp. Apologies. We're going to cover 3 oddball giants tonight, and I'm kind of planning on going from smallest to tallest, but there's also some, and this is where I'm going to get really oddball true giants.
Right. So, like, from a halfling's perspective, a human might seem like a giant, but they're not actually related.
But there are true giants, and there are giant kin. Now, all the 3 things we're going to talk about tonight are giant kin. They're not giants. However, there will be a section about giants that will be the lesser known giants that are true giants. Fog giants, desert giants, ceruleans, even some of the mountains versus the stone giants, the differentiation there. Most people know the basics of giants: hill, frost, fire, cloud, storm.
Yeah.
I forgot somebody major there, didn't I? Did I forget somebody major there?
No, I think that's
okay.
I think that's all of them. Yeah.
All right, so that's sort of the hot 100 of the giant world.
Yeah. With, of course, the storm giants kind of being at the top of the heap. Yeah.
Now let me ask you a question. Do you cast the Titan in the sense of how we handle monster descriptors as a giant, as the greatest of the giants, or do you cast them as a separate species? Because in my old book there, a Titan is always attended by several storm giants.
Right. They're kind of similar to like Bahamut when it comes to dragons,
Okay.
The same sort of idea. So Bahamut, he's a dragon, but he's also more, more divine status sort of thing.
Okay. All right. Easy.
I would put Titan in the same box.
By the way, if it makes a difference, production mistress, I'd love to have a black background and brighter light at that point. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
Yep.
It also keeps you from going blind in one eye after 45 minutes.
Right.
But let me ask you a question, 5th edition guru. What are the giants that appear in the 5th edition?
Pretty much the same ones that you see in, going way back. It's your basic 5 or whatever. And you've also got Furbolg in there. I don't think you have the other 2 though. The other 2 giant kin.
See, I've got
fog
giants.
I don't think they're there yet.
I've got desert giants. I've got mountain giants. I've got Fomorians. I've got the Ceruleans, and I've got several other giant kin actually in the Splat books that are a lot of fun. Here's the interesting thing that I thought was funny. Nobody knows what the damn Verbeeg is, right? But everybody's read about him if they read the old novels. The old Icewind Dale trilogy.
Yeah.
When Wolfgar and Dritz go into that lair.
Yeah,
they're all Verbeegs.
Yep.
It's a lair full of Verbeegs. And it's the only time I think in print that I can remember them being used as static monster.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Okay. Now, nuts and bolts. What are the nuts and bolts of the of giants?
As far as like their social order, stuff like that, or that one I've never really quite got up to speed on. I haven't really used giants in in games as much. I pop
Now,
one up here and there.
I have I have played a lot with giants because again, I go back to my old playing days. Mr. Dale White was a huge fan of giants. He loved them, thought they were great. He hated dragons. He liked demons, giants, and things that had too many arms, slimy, and too many mouths.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So aboleths and stuff like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
he was huge fan of aboleth, dark tentacles, froghemoths.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he loved giants, and he used them consistently with us. Um, he liked large creatures.
Mhm.
We got very used to being we got very used to being the ping pong balls. One of the nuts and bolts issues of the giants that I like is that until you hit a certain point on the scale, they're not terribly bright.
Right. Yeah. Hill giants are just kind of, almost like the intelligence
Almost
of
like
a
a
child.
Neanderthal.
Yeah.
And then you get into like people talk about the frost giants and the fire giants. Well, they give them an exceptional intelligence, but I've never seen them treated that way before. I don't see a lot of intelligence in giants like at that cloud giant, storm giant level, but that's a matter of opinion, I guess. More
Oh,
than
you
anything
definitely
else.
do in fire giants, though. I mean, fire giants are probably the more devious of the big ones.
I like the cloud giant being 50% good, 50% evil.
Yeah.
Anyway, nuts and bolts of giants. Great things about giants is they're powerful foes, but they're not too overwhelming.
Mhm.
They're not anywhere near as powerful as dragons.
It depends. I mean, you get some of those big spellcaster storm giants, and
Well, I mean,
They'll-
I mean,
they'll
I
ru-
mean, I mean,
they'll
come
ruin
on,
your
come on. You're
Christmas.
talking about the pinnacle here,
Yeah.
okay? I'm talking about starting out where we're at with the Verbeek, Vodka, and Furbolg.
I could see. Oh yeah, with the smaller ones. Yeah, they would. They'd probably be about as threatening as like a dragon hatchling though, or a very young dragon though.
I like the fact that giants are underutilized in the fact that they have at their disposal two very powerful things. They can pick you up and throw you,
Mm-hmm.
and it hurts.
Yep.
Number two, they can hurl large bludgeoning objects at you,
Yep.
and I imagine that would hurt as well.
Well, and falling damage doesn't care about your armor class.
D6 per 10 feet.
Yep. So
Well, that was the old way. Is it the same way now
Yeah.
in the fifth? See, this is kind of funny. The more I'm starting to, the more I'm starting to realize that a lot of it's the similar same thing.
yeah. A lot of fifth ed is really just kind of refined and streamlined second ed.
Here's something that I've always thought about with giants. My players haven't had to deal with giants yet. They will in the near future. That's a hint. One of the things about giants is if you're fighting a monster that's say you're a halfling.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not talking about dwarves because dwarves are a whole separate class.
Yep.
I'm talking about a halfling, a gnome. If you're a halfling or a gnome and a guy who's 12 feet tall kicks you in the face,
You're getting hurt,
not only that, how are you going to keep your feet?
right?
How hard is your bell going to get rung?
Yeah.
I remember one of the things that I used to do in my old second ed gaming days when I had a giant that punched somebody or kicked them or slammed them with his hand or something, I'd make them roll a body save, whether it was a petrification polymorph save or a breath weapon save. That's a body save to see if they remained conscious or got stunned for a certain number of rounds. Once again, if someone hits you with a fist the size of a Volkswagen, it's
Well,
going to suck.
There's something to be said too about hit points and the abstraction that comes with that.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it is a giant. They're huge, and they say hit a halfling, by punching him. It's not necessarily when he does damage or hits. It's not necessarily that it clocked him and knocked him across the field or whatever. It's that he hit him enough to damage him by X amount of hit points. It's more like graze or whatever.
Mhm.
So part of the thing with AC is it takes into account not only your armor but your ability to kind of dodge and get mostly out of the way. So, I usually rule it as, a hit that doesn't do much damage. It isn't, a solid hit that connected. Or even sometimes a miss is actually, it glances off your armor
Well, I mean, yeah,
and
okay,
doesn't do
fine,
any damage.
and
Yeah.
that's all good too. Now, I have been known to make saving throws more difficult as you get lower in hit points
Oh, that's
versus
just
when you
mean.
first started out in the higher pool.
Yep. Yeah, you end up with this snowball effect where the more hurt you get, the worse it gets. It's kind of like
yeah.
that's kind of how like Vampire the Masquerade and stuff like that does it. If you're at certain health levels, you're losing dice out of your dice pool, so it makes it harder for you to do things.
Hi Zane, how you doing? Anyway, nuts and bolts. Two more things I want to talk about real quick. Diet.
Yeah, that's where it gets kind of interesting. Hill giants, for the most part, would be
Eat anything.
whatever they can get. Even if it's a bit rotted, whatever. They'll usually take whatever they can scrounge up.
Remember the Cyclops? They had mutton and they had mead.
Yep.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I always use that for the furball. I always use that for the frost
yeah.
giant. It sounds very, very Scandinavian. It's bullshit Scandinavian, but
Right.
it sounds that way to me.
Yeah.
So
Now, I think
I'm cool with that.
With fire giants, I see them having more of like kind of lavish feasts and stuff to some degree, because they're gonna have a bunch of Duergar and stuff as slaves, and even humans, whatever. So yeah, they'd have it a little better. Oh yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah. Now, let me talk about something real quick. I'm not sure how many of you have ever heard of a Vodkin. And this is a herbivore, 9.5-foot tall giant.
He looks like he's vegan and he does CrossFit.
He's slightly less powerful than an ogre at 3'6", because 3'7" was ogre strength, remember? These guys are nimble as hell in the forest, and they are, by the way, the whole jaw thing, apparently according to the book, is based on the fact they have a big lantern jaw so they can grind up all the plants they eat.
It makes sense.
Because they can eat vegetation that we can't eat. These guys are like elven ranger giants.
Yeah.
They're also very intelligent. They're good, but they're not. They don't want to be. They don't want you to develop a fan club. Piss off.
But they're the guy that's out there kind of protecting the forest and stuff like that.
It's interesting because the way they present these guys. It's interesting because they talk about they call them wood giants, and according to the lore in the book, they're big friends with wood elves. Which makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
The more Sylvan the elf, the more connection you'd have to a Sylvan giant. They get along with all manner of woodland creatures, etc. And they're not particularly dangerous to adventurers. But what I thought was interesting, this is nuts and bolts from your DM's perspective. Treasures on a Vodkin. They give you an E treasure type, which is a lair treasure type, which is several pieces of magical equipment, okay? Now, here's a question for you, because TJ brought this up last week. How much of the treasure is actually usable?
Right. It all depends on, is it something the giants using themselves? If so, then, that gets a little trickier. Depending on how you rule that sort of thing, some DMs, magic armor will fit the wearer no matter what. It just shrinks or grows to the size of the person.
Right.
Because it's magic, That, it ends up being pretty much useless unless it actually fits somebody. It's kind of hard to tell in game because, we're both humans, and armor that would fit me would not work on you and vice versa.
Oh, God, no. And that's a conversation for a different night.
Right.
I'm actually planning on doing a show just on treasure. Okay, just on treasure. Anyway, back to the other topic.
But yeah, hey, treasure on giants. Yeah, it all depends on what you want to give the characters and how much of a jerk you want to be. Wave something shiny in front of them and go, oh, it's cool, but you
One
can't
of the
use it.
one
Who
of
are
the
you gonna sell
funniest
it to?
one of the funniest things I ever saw in my life was a module using a hill giant. And this hill giant was particularly dirty and disgusting and nasty and filthy. And he had turned this bed he had of bear skins that were half tanned and mud and probably fecal matter and stuff like that,
Who knows what?
and smashed down in the bottom of the mud underneath this thing was a cloak of elven kind, a set of boots of elven kind, and a ring of invisibility. Okay? Which means that if you find those three items, you are officially going to screw every plan the DM has from
Right.
that point forward, as long as you're outside. Okay?
Pretty much. I think there's ways around it.
But they
stuff
tell
with
you that
blind
it's
sense,
buried
yeah.
8 feet deep in this muck.
Mm.
How long does it take them to find it? Did the giant do it on purpose?
Could have.
These are all things that I think are fun for the giant when planning the encounter, because you can take that relative intelligence level, like your Vodkin, for instance. If he knows things are particularly valuable, he may hide them some abstract place in the lair.
Yeah.
You know?
Somewhere up on a ledge or something where he's pretty sure you can't get to.
What happens whenever you kill the Vodkin and the Wood Elves hear about it?
Right? That's probably not going to be good.
You just pissed in someone's Cheerios for real.
Mm-hmm. It's especially worse if they had been helping you in some way before that.
Yeah. Now, Fembot Artsy Pants. Okay. Fembot Artsy Pants on the screen.
I
See
think
that?
that's Femi.
Okay, cool. Hi.
I believe so.
Hi. Now, that's a good basic start for our first little block. Here's the bad news, Dave. It's time for me to go and visit the little boy's room.
Yep.
And time for you to play something.
Sounds like a plan. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna sing.
Do you have anything about giants?
No, not really. Not that I can think of.
Little Constantinople. Anyway, I'm going to step out for a couple minutes. Dave's going to have you covered.
Oh yeah, I don't know any. They might be. I mean, I know the songs. I just don't know them. Yeah. Well, let's see. Right. I don't know them inside or out. Let's see. Where do we want to go? Let's see. Well, a lot of these I've already done. I'm gonna have to start learning some new ones. I can always do one that I've done before too. That is an option. It's almost the same problem I have with karaoke. I'll like pick out a song and then change it 9 or 10 times before it actually gets to my turn. It's something people don't see because it happens behind the scenes. And usually, like once it gets to where it's up on the screen, I don't change it as often. It's also the hard part about going to sing karaoke anywhere else, because the host is gonna go nuts if I change my song 10 times. And sometimes you go through your list of stuff and you're like, no, don't like that one, don't like that one, don't like that one, don't like that one anymore. Eh. Ooh. Yeah. I never was too good at the jamming thing. That's kind of Andy's bag there. Yeah. Or just do some. There we go. That's a Scottish fiddle tune, but on guitar.
All right, we're back.
Yep.
Having a rough night at the singing post.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, just looking through the songbook and just can't find anything.
Did anything leap out at you at all?
Nah. Yeah, that my brain's kind of mush. I did 2 weddings in a row over the weekend, and that always just kind of drains you. One is usually enough.
It's been that kind of weekend. We went to the Pirate Festival on Saturday, had a great time. And Sunday game day was pretty good. We lost another player. Two
Uh-oh.
players. Well, one of them one volunteered to pretty much give himself the axe.
Ah.
And the other one didn't actually die, but she ended up brain damaged.
Mm.
All right.
Mm.
Vodkin, Verbeeg, Furbolg.
Yep.
We've already done a lot of the Vodkin stuff.
Would you count Goliaths in there?
I don't know
They
what a
they do
Goliath
have
is.
giant heritage, don't they? I'll look it up while you're
Okay.
talking about those ones.
All right. Verbeegs. Verbeegs are the smallest of the human behemoths. 8.5, 10 feet tall. They are dumb as a bag of bricks or average intelligent. They are not very fucking nice. And the only time I've ever seen them used is in a book. I tell you what's interesting too. You know how every giant has a listing for how much damage it does when it tosses a rock?
Right.
These guys have that for a spear. Range, damage bonus, and their strength.
Nice.
And it's a random determination. And it's irrespective of height, which I think is pretty interesting. Ugly as hell, eat everything in the world. Disgusting creatures. Small letter treasure. They also are found to tame wolves, wargs, polar bears, or winter wolves. They also have shamans. Nothing major. They can have a 7th level shaman, so they can toss some pretty hard spells at you in the 2nd edition. And they have a warrior chieftain every once in a while. Oh, shamans all know how to use the magical items in the treasure trove. Why? They're pretty good at organizing themselves in the combat troops. They're not very powerful. Slightly more so than an ogre.
Right.
But they are very interesting creatures. I like Verbeeg because you can have a Verbeeg that comes in slightly better than an actual bugbear. and slightly less than a hill giant as far as power level goes. Deep Rock. Who is Deep Rock? Hi, Deep Rock. I'm glad you're here too. Hello. I'm here as well. Now, by the way, anybody have a question? Please ask. All right. You are familiar with furbolgs, right?
A bit, yeah.
Let me hear what you got.
Um,
What about your Goliaths?
Oh, so yeah, I checked. It didn't say anything about like being related to giants. They're just big.
What's a Goliath?
Basically, they're a humanoid race that are really reclusive. They live up in the mountains. They're huge, and they look almost like they're carved from stone. They make awesome barbarians,
Okay.
like really good barbarians.
Okay. All right. Cool.
But yeah, no, except yeah, they play a paladin furball. Yeah, paladin. That's an interesting combo. I don't think I've seen that one before.
My only problem with furbolgs in my games that I've had to deal with before is that I've had people play furbolgs in my game on one occasion, and he managed to do it for about an hour and a half. And as soon as he went down to town to buy himself some armor, and I thought it was going to be 2.5 times the normal cost, he looked at me like I was crazy. Bought himself a normal sword, and it broke within the first 4 or 5 usages.
Yeah.
And he got mad at me and quit.
Mm.
Well, playing the character anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't have many players who tried to play giant type races in my games. It doesn't come up a lot. But I'm also the person that believes that the game should be heliocentric. But that's just that's a style taste.
However, I think furbolgs are now an official race in 5e.
That doesn't surprise me.
And they're not in the player's handbook. I think they're. I don't remember. I think they're in Volo's guide. Is it Xanathar's? Oh, okay. It's in one of them.
Right.
But yeah, because a lot of the new books have introduced new races and.
Do they have the whole size shifting capability?
I don't know. I know there's one of the big streaming games. They've got somebody playing a furbolg in there, and he's a druid.
See, in this here,
one more.
These guys are 10.5 foot tall, 10 feet tall, over 800 pounds. Oh, that's right. They don't change. That's the Spriggan gnome I'm thinking about. They'll change the size. Yeah, these are 10 feet tall, 800-pound people.
Ooh, so did you get made into a Oathbreaker paladin then? Because that's not too bad.
Stripped of my spells for. Okay, help me out here because I'm the old man that doesn't understand. You didn't get spells as a paladin until way late in your career when I was playing paladins in the games.
I think as of 3rd edition, you got them like a regular caster, just not as many spell slots. So in 5e, paladin is a half caster, so they get spells at half the rate of like a wizard or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. Eldritch Knights get it even worse. Same with Arcane Tricksters. They're a 1/3 caster. So they max out at 20th level. They'll have like 1/4 level spell slot. Oh, the second green one. So not that one, but the other one. There we go. the other hum. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this one does tend to hum a bit.
Echo chamber, echo
Yep.
chamber, echo chamber, echo chamber, echo chamber. Yeah. I don't know anything. We're doing a curse of Strahd to protect the abbot from burning. Okay.
Oh, how did the abbot get burned?
Oh God, here we go. I'm out. I'm out.
Our Wednesday game, they just met the abbot. They popped divine sense and realized what he was. But... Oh, you guys killed the crap out of him. Yeah, you didn't burn him. You skinned him.
Hey, hold on, real quick. Make sure you hit follow on Twitch. Subscribe. If you want to see the old videos, go to YouTube. Hit the like button, thumbs up, hit the bell. Moving along.
All right.
I have been reminded, i.e. threatened within a quarter inch of my life, by production mistress to make sure that we do this properly from now on. Now.
So, we were on Furbolgs.
Those guys are fun. They're very cool. They're very laid back. They're very, very fun to play with. Do we have a problem, production mistress? Okay. I'm almost of the opinion, and this is what do you think? Vodkin, Furbolg, Verbeeg all make viable PC style characters.
Yeah.
Do you think those kind of characters need to be isolated unto themselves?
Not necessarily. I think you can work it into the story and
Are we having a issue?
And make it go.
Okay.
Yeah. And it all really depends on like how you want your story to be told and all that. I don't think they unbalance the game really, but they do present some of their own challenges. You know, if they're in a group of just we're standard humanoids and stuff, you are gonna run into problems because most of the buildings out there are not made for you. Yeah, so something to take into consideration. It is gonna hamper any sort of combat that's indoors. Yeah, how are you gonna swing a weapon when you're 10 feet tall and there's 6-7 foot ceilings? Yeah, it does make it a little tougher. So
that's that's also one of the things that I've had I've involved too. How do you go adventure in a standard 8-foot ceiling dungeon if you're 10 foot tall as a base tall? How about if you're 9 foot tall?
Yeah, yeah, it gets pretty tricky, and so that's something for the player to really take into consideration.
So it's to me, it goes hand in hand with the idea that was brought up the other night about the whole equipment thing.
I kind of look at it as the same sort of deal as having a player play like a drow or something like that. You definitely want to let them know ahead of time that yeah, that's cool that you want to play that race, but here's some of the challenges you're going to run into. Most of the towns you go to, they're going to want to kill you on sight. Stuff like that. It's going to make social interactions way harder for the rest of the party.
The moment you walk into town and you're 10 foot tall, 800 pounds,
you're getting somebody's attention.
Somebody's going to be staring at you. And normally, again, people are stupid. They're panicking and they're dumb.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment they think something's a threat, they're going to want to kill it.
Yep.
Right? So...
if you're lucky, they might try to talk to you first.
My favorite one, though, is I've had these situations come up where people have reacted negatively. Where people have negatively reacted to characters like that. And the players always get very angry. Well, I was smiling and had a pleasant expression. That's great. You're A, B, C, or D. Do you look like them? No.
Yep.
Well, what does that matter? I don't know. Look at the sum of human history.
Right. Yeah. All of it is.
So that's one of the challenges that
we have a propensity for killing people who don't look like us. It's kind of a thing.
It's one of the stupidest things we can do, but it's kind of a common theme in history. However, again, none of the three giants that I talked about so far, the Verbeeg, Vodkin, Furbolg, I think present any major challenges. But I'm the kind of person that thinks that if you're going to run a giant, I think you need to run a campaign with that.
And that could be cool. But if I was going to go with giants and it's going to be the campaign, screw that. I'm going all the way. We're going to go Council of Worms this shit, and you're playing a full giants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you go off and you Giant it up.
Yep. Maybe there's some deal going on with the ordning, and you have players that are all representing a different type of giant, and so that's your party. So you've got to work together to like organize what's going on with
I like that idea too.
the giants. Maybe like all the different giants have gone to war with each other or something, and you got to try to prevent that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a fun campaign.
I think it'd be a fun campaign too. I've never done anything like that. I've played some humanoid campaigns are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Orcs and that kind of thing. Those are a lot of fun. Orc games are hilarious. They can be a riot. Best game I ever had fun with, it was just kind of a bullshit have fun game, was a goblin game.
Oh, hey, there we go. Arcana Evolved, yep.
I have no familiarity with that whatsoever. I didn't play a lot of 3 and 3.5. But I'm going to assume I'm going to assume he's 100% correct.
Yeah, and I would imagine you could adapt most of that to any edition.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Probably so. Yeah. I don't, like I said, though, I remember, and I'm gonna bring that up again and again and again and again. TJ brought up something very important last week. What the hell are you going to do with this giant size equipment when you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
most of it's not going to work for you or fit.
Yeah.
At all.
How the hell are you going to sell it?
Although it would be kind of fun to be carrying around a giant's wand of magic missiles as a quarterstaff.
A quarterstaff, my ass. It'd be more like a caber. In the case of like a cloud giant.
Right.
You're a caber of magic missiles. That's I'm sorry. Stop. That's a hilarious fucking thought. A caber of magic missiles.
There we go, yeah. Telephone pole of fireballs.
Hold it down with, down here and, what's the Semitic component? Yep.
Yeah.
That is a fun idea.
The activation word for it is hernia.
Hernia. That's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely
But
terrifying.
yeah, it definitely gets tricky anytime treasure is involved with giants. They do have in Volo's guide. They do have a neat list of things a giant might be carrying, and there's some pretty good ones in there. Let me see if I can pull it up. I should have just brought the book.
Are you talking about like the Kinder grab bag of giants?
Kinda.
There was actually a chance with a Kinder grab bag you could pull a fucking artifact out.
Oh yeah.
Because those guys stole everything in sight.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it on here necessarily, but
so guess what? We talk about music and we talk about D&D, right? And monsters. So if anybody is familiar with a tongue drum, it's called a slit drum. It's made of wood. It's a little wooden box. It's completely enclosed except for the top. And what they've done is you cut slits in it and make fingers or tongues. Now, it's exactly what it looks like. It's a wooden box. Here's the fun part, though. A little rubber ball on the end of a stick. This is a little instrument that I picked up over the weekend. It's a fun, and it sounds nice. It's got a real almost xylophone feel to it, right? So you can actually, marimbas.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
You can actually remove the backs on these things, and you take a drill motor or drill, and you remove wood from either the leading edge or the trailing edge.
Tune it.
And that's how you tune the drum. Right.
Yeah, you tune it a little too much.
And then it's just kind of dead.
But or bust out the putty.
But the point
Yeah,
is,
now it's
is
a
that,
planter.
but the point is that like you can make, I think what is it? Every factor of 1.25, you increase the overall interior of the box. You move it up or down 1 octave. So they make these things. I've seen them. They're like this big,
Oh yeah.
and they had this little tinkling, almost bell sound to them. It's absolutely hilarious. And then I've seen them, and they're 4 feet long, and they sound like you're banging on bass drums and tacos,
Yeah.
tacos, tacos, tacos,
Tycho.
Tycho,
Tycho.
Tycho. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So spelled a little different.
I love that little thing. I've been playing with it nonstop since I got it. And at the Pirate Festival, Kadra bought me a dubek, a goblet drum, and they're fun. Right, these things are so much fun.
Yep. I've got a couple of them.
Yeah.
I've got one of the big heavy Alexandria ones. It's all milled aluminum.
Yep.
Yeah, as opposed to like I've got a couple of those ones too.
There's a guy that I talked to online briefly last night who has one of these, and he's from Turkey, and his is made from what was the name of it? It's locust wood.
Oh, okay.
And they changed the timbre of the drum. This is aluminum, so of course this is all pressed in. But they milled the inside, or they used a reamer or a hog bit to cut to sort of shave the inside of the stem of the goblet drum, and it changed the whole tone. And they tuned it to essentially what's the new the 423 instead of the 440A.
Oh yeah.
And it's a 423A tuning that he did with it, and it was the weirdest sounding thing I'd ever heard in my entire life. But Kay bought this for me because it's really, we should do a Bard Gear show.
I like that idea though. That would be cool.
I love these things. I can't play them worth a damn, but I love them. They're so much fun to play around with. Not that I'm sure you can play it wrong,
Right.
but
I can show you the traditional technique though.
here.
So part of the reason they call it a doombeck is the sound. So you were pretty much there, and the way you let me take my other ring off. So I'm not. Oh, maybe that one's not coming off. Come on, just a little bit further.
Dude, don't rip your finger off in the process.
All right, there we go. So you have your tap there, and then you've got two ways to hit it with the right hand. There's in the center, the doom, and then tech. And that one's kind of so you've got kind of three different tones you can do there, and then there's
It's like doing a rim
raps.
shot. Are you supposed to cover that?
No, it should be, yeah.
It's hard to get used to using that other hand.
It's tricky, yeah. Yeah, it kind of throws you off. Well, hello there, Sleeping Quill.
See, I just, these things, I found them. I was amazed at how inexpensive it was, too. And it's easy to tune.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're super easy. I don't know if you've ever seen the like, super traditional ones. They're made of clay, like a ceramic clay type stuff. And then they've got the head is basically a fish skin and it's glued on. And if you watch if you watch them play them, they'll play with two and then have a heating pad on the floor. So as your moisture from your fingers gets into it and sweat and stuff, it starts detuning it. So you swap drums real quick. Put
the one down by the heating pad to dry it
You
out.
put it face down on the heating pad,
So you
and
can dry
they
it out.
make heaters specifically for that. It's pretty cool. But they'll switch drums really quick, and just almost seamlessly. And they'll play on that one until it starts getting, a little too wet to play. And
I've been having fun with digging through all these instruments that are being presented, but I'm going to play a little bit of something. Let you go hit the can real quick.
Sounds good.
Or you can familiarize yourself with Cancer some more if you'd like. So what am I going to do? Am I going to play the drums here? Or am I going to play the guitar? What? Electric guitar. Why? Okay. So I'm going to tell the story. It's kind of embarrassing, but it's funny. I haven't played this guitar in months before tonight. You're going to have to turn me back up here, Production Mistress. You cut me down. Get a little bit more. Thank you. So I haven't played this guitar in months before tonight, mostly because it's kind of a pain in the ass. I've gotten so used to not playing with a Floyd Rose anymore that it's kind of tough to do it sometimes. So this guitar was bought for me 15 years ago. It's a little basic. It's a beautiful guitar. Feels good in the hands. Plays well. I've customized it a lot, but this guitar is the reason why my son's here. When I first moved here, and I didn't know anybody, and I went to school, and I met my son's mom, a nice lady, and we were running around one day, and we stopped by a pawn shop, and I walked in and sat down and started playing this guitar. And Rita had no idea I played. And I looked up, and she's standing behind me, and she's staring at me like, somebody who just discovered fire, I guess. And I went outside to smoke a cigarette because I smoked at the time. And she walks out like 10 minutes later, and she says, are you going to help me carry this damn thing to the car, or do I have to carry it myself? And she had bought this guitar for me, and she bought the amplifier that I was playing too. And what was funny was when she did that, I've lost my connection over here, if that matters to you, Production Mistress. So she decided to buy the guitar for me, and every time she would come over to the house in the evening, she'd lay down and we'd imbibe in adult beverages and other diversions, and we'd have a good time, and I'd play the guitar. And she just absolutely loved it, and I was like, okay, whatever. And when Riley was first born, one of the things they used to do was play for him all the time. But like I said, this guitar has been with me for a long time. I don't play it very often because it has a tremolo in it. And it's kind of tough to deal with because if you lay your hand on it the wrong way, you change the pitches without even meaning to. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do here, but I'm just going to kind of see where it leads me, okay? something a little different than that. Pull this off, get out of my way. That's not gonna work. Wow, guys.
I like what the Floyd Rose bridges can do. I just never liked trying to keep them in tune.
They're great as long as you're masochistic.
Yep.
We'll try something real quick. I need production misters to be at the board, though.
What are you trying to do? Way to balance your game in there. So that your distorted sound is like a hair louder than your clean sound. I'd probably have even more of these.
I'm gonna put this down.
What do we have next?
Oh, another block. Actually, a couple of bits, and it's something that I thought was pretty interesting here. What I've got is things that the DM size when dealing with giants and things the players love when dealing with giants, as a combination of the two of us. Because I don't want to put you on the spot.
I do like the more back and forth thing too.
Things that make the DM sigh about dealing with giants. What? DP Rock just subscribed. Sweet. Oh, cool.
Awesome.
I missed that. Sorry. Thank you for subscribing. We appreciate it. Trust me. And I'm new to this, so, forgive me missing it. Things the DM sighs about when dealing with giants. when the players look at you like hurt 8-year-olds who you took their ice cream away from, when you tell them to roll the saving throw because the 25-foot tall dude just kicked you in the nose.
Yep. Well, it kind of kicked you in the everywhere. It's really
Pretty
how
much.
that works.
I mean,
Yeah.
His foot's the size of your house.
Yep.
Okay. Things the players like about dealing with giants.
I think some of that would be, and it depends on the DM too, but there's a lot of interesting like comedic stuff you can do with giants. Like in one I saw, the giants were playing hockey.
What?
Yeah, they were using big giant clubs to bat around, a 10-foot wide tabletop for a puck.
On a frozen inland sea?
And basically. And they were not really paying too much attention to the party until they were, and then pretty soon the hockey game turned into let's see if we can hit the little guys with the table. So there's cool stuff you can do.
Air hockey, the players. Okay, fair enough. Things that make the DM go about giants. And this is more along the lines of the DM going about the players dealing with giants.
Yeah. There's the other side of it too, where, and it's something I run into on Reddit all the time, where people are like, I don't know what happened. My character's just killed this giant or whatever that's should be a challenge for him, and it turns out the problem is that the DM is just running the monster like a big bag of hit points with a couple attacks, and that's it. They're not really utilizing the creature to its full extent.
Are you reading this fucking heresy?
Yeah.
What if the tavern's a mimic and you're a sprint that have a stomach? Yeah, what about it? Who cares?
That'd be
Absolutely.
interesting. I do like changing up mimics and doing weird stuff with them, though.
Man, have you seen the most terrifying mimic in the world? It's a toilet.
Oh, yeah, that would be all kinds of terrible.
That would be all kinds of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. What a pisser.
Here we go.
I mean, it's a
Real
shitty
shit
joke.
show.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to quit now.
Yeah, this whole thing is going down the toilet.
Ooh, circling the drain. Anyway.
Everybody loves a little bathroom humor once in a while.
Andy gets so mad at me. Anyway, things that make the DM sigh about giants. When your 5.5 foot tall character with a 3.5 foot tall weapon goes hacking at the guy's thigh bone and hits the diameter of a fucking oak tree, and you hit one time for 7 points of damage, and look at me and go, but I hit him in the thigh with a cold shot. Didn't I cut it off?
No.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe if you examined, I don't know, fucking physiology at its basic and anatomical level.
Right. It's like, you hit the Vorpal sword and get that crit. No, you're not cutting his head off. You can't reach it.
It's 22 feet off the ground.
But he did lose a toe, and he's really mad now. And let's see if he
hoping aims bow at giants, Gibbles hoping to get a hit.
See, I think that's a valid tactic there.
That's a valid tactic, but it's an overused tactic. And I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and point this out. As a male of the species, when I get into a fight, the first thing I do is make sure you can't kick me in the bahoogies.
Yeah. Well, that's why you hit him in the pee hole with a trebuchet.
I don't like you.
Sometimes kidney stones go the other way.
There wouldn't be a small... TJ, there wouldn't be a small remote village anymore. There'd be a fucking training center for, carrying treasure to the giant's lair, man. I mean, he's 100% right. Check this out. How would a giant affect the economics of an area? Once again, it goes back to ecology.
Oh, yeah.
Pharmacology. Yeah,
that's
cool.
And that goes back into like, what are they eating? I mean, they don't have giant cows. That could be, but I mean, you get into some weird stuff with physiology there, which kind of make giants not really possible to begin with, because you reach Yeah, you reach the mammal size limit
They
where
do.
they actually burn up from the inside.
They do talk about. They do talk about in some of the.
You made me choke on my pickle. Sounds like the name of somebody's sex tape.
I'm gonna leave that joke the fuck alone.
Yeah, that's a thing too. Yeah.
Buys a cajillion bolts of cloth for a new cloak.
Or a loincloth, whatever. Yeah.
All right, things the DM size about giants.
Summer giant fashion just wrecks the silk market.
Yep.
Okay, I'm good now.
Well, it makes you wonder if they'd have, giant-sized looms and stuff to make their clothing with, or what. But
Or
but it seems
or is
like-
everything you own patchwork.
right, yeah, and it kind of seems that way. Like you don't really see. I guess you do see giant villages and stuff here and there, but
What are you gonna
generally
do with,
not.
You know,
Yeah.
how happy. Crash the market, throw a giant ball.
Yep.
I swear to every god or whatever the fuck is living in it wherever. If I didn't like the guitar, I would hurl it at her right now. That anyway. Ooh, riddle me this, Batman. Giants. Appetite. How do you have husbandry as a giant?
I think you. So there. I really the way to do it would be to have.
Smash and grab and constant. I mean, how
Well,
can you have a lair if you eat that much?
Right. It kind of runs. You run into the same problem that you have with dragons. They eat a massive amount of food because of the big dragon metabolism. So they're going to decimate the wildlife in an area. Yeah, unless I could see maybe a giant wanting to move to Chult just because dinosaurs.
Yeah, walking fucking
Are they-
steak parties.
Yeah, they farm dinosaurs.
That'd
so
be great.
so it wouldn't be all that bad for a giant down there.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Now,
Oh, do not make us fight an undead giant. That would suck. We already had to fight a zombie T-Rex. Well, yeah, we did kick the crap out of it really quick. Giants eating other monsters. Yeah, that's kind of we'd have to go.
Are we giving her shitty ideas for to beat you up with?
I think so, maybe.
Okay, fair enough. One would assume a super highly efficient metabolism where they would utilize 90% of whatever they consume.
That could be. You don't see giant toilets. Maybe they don't poop. Maybe they just use it all.
Oh man, come on. Giants are full of shit. Just
You don't see people hunting giants be like, giant size, that way, that mountain of shit.
Yeah, right. It's like a turd this size of an inn.
you people are killing me. You know that?
That'd be like really great for local fertilizers.
Right? Yeah. So they'd be able to give back to the community.
So the giant pays for the depredations by coming and taking a ginormous, dropping a fucking deuce in the middle of the field at the beginning of the planting season.
Yeah.
Maybe they have very nitrogen-rich poop.
That could be. Yeah.
Do you realize we're sitting here discussing fecal matter and giants?
Hey, it's important. You got to really dig deep into the ecology of your creatures. You know, it adds that extra sense of realism.
Is that what we're going with?
Yeah.
Okay. If you say so. Question. DM sighing about things about giants. Because Jerry has already planted the idea in my head. Kadra is going to cuss you for a month because you looked up, said something to him. He said undead giant, and my brain went, yes.
Okay, so my giggle somehow it's my fault when I didn't even laugh at that. That was entirely you guys. I was laughing at something else related to what he said, but that was it.
Well, we kind of even like a little self-fulfilling prophecy. When the town got attacked, by hordes of zombies, and there's dinosaurs out there, and we were like, oh, what if there's zombie T-Rexes out there?
And there's this really lovely picture in the book
Yeah, it turns out they barf zombies up, and yeah, they're. Luckily,
What kind of fucking psychedelics do you people do?
This is actually in an official
Official
campaign.
what?
Tomb of Annihilation,
From what universe?
Forgotten Realms.
Fifth Ed?
Yep.
That explains it.
Cholt goes all the way back to second ed.
And screw Cholt.
So yeah, that's where we're at. So.
I don't love you.
It was
Take it away. I don't love you.
It was okay though. We had
No one likes you when you're adopted.
We had our Triceratops charge it, and that handled it pretty well. So it actually didn't make it a whole round.
You people are just fucking broken. Anyway. Huh? Oh, Allie's going to get it all right. And since Allie gets it, so do you. Sparkles can't run that fast. By the way, Sparkles is the name of her character on Sunday.
Nice.
She created a cheerleader named Corinne, and we called her Stacy McSparkle anyway for a while. And now she is the cheerleader who's very effective with a bat that she has bedazzled. So she has a bedazzabat.
Oh no.
And y'all thought y'all had some silly ideas. Anyway.
We just have dinosaurs with racing stripes on them.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about dinosaurs with racing stripes, for Christ's sakes. How small can a giant be and still be a giant? Is there a 6 foot? Oh, God damn. Anyway, TJ.
That would be interesting, like a subrace of giants that is their version of the halfling. So they're like only 12 feet tall.
You know what I would use for that? Well, I mean the Verbeeks.
Well, yeah.
They're 8.5, 10 feet tall. But you could also use that Athasian half giant.
Oh, yeah.
They come in around 7, 8 feet tall.
Yep.
And they're like the smallest of the kind. They're
I
sort of
kind
a
of-
compressed version.
I kind of wondered, too, if the Athasian half giant was kind of the inspiration for the Goliath now that I
It
think
might have
about
been
it.
when you look at the picture,
Yeah.
especially.
Because
Give me
I
a
don't think they're
second.
trying to like officially bring back Dark Sun anytime soon.
Thank God that fucking setting sucked.
I liked
Moldy
Dark
monkey
Sun.
bahoogies.
Right? Yeah.
By the way,
I've still got some of the old second ed stuff.
I'm getting that tattooed soon.
Oh, there you go. That'll be cool.
I'm gonna try to find something about another giant kin here real quick because there's some interesting stuff here. Ooh, there we are. Good Lord.
Well, I got bright.
Yeah, I know. Oh. Setting specific. Remember the Cerulean Dragon?
Mhm.
They have Cerulean Giants. You have a Forest Giant and an Ice Giant. Good guy, bad guy.
Ah.
And everything about the Ice Giants is a Fog Giant in every way. Not Fog Giant, Frost Giant. And they're all Scandinavian too. Your Forest Giants are peaceful creatures who guard the forest against evil incursions.
So we had a question come up too. What about half giants? Half human, half giant?
The only thing that I've ever seen
I just
like
don't wanna
that,
watch.
Quill, was that was those Athasians. And as far as like making one, I don't know. That'd be kind of tough.
Well, you cast enlarge on one, reduce on the other, and then they're the same size.
Yeah, but man, that had to be painful.
Frost giants sound riveting.
I don't want to discuss that. Frog giants. Oh.
Frog
Wah,
giants.
wah, wah. Riveting. Y'all thought I had dad jokes. So what would one suggest the preferred class of a giant PC? Would it depend on the subspecies? Maybe. By the way, there he is.
Pretty sure they're all sorcerer, right?
Now here's something
Celestial
interesting.
warlocks, all of them.
The Athasian half giant comes in at 13 feet. This was a play. Sorry, my camera's a little. Oh man. Anyway, Quill.
Sometimes you just got to pony up.
Oh. Oh, that hurts.
Say the equanimity of that joke.
Check this out.
I don't want to saddle you with anything.
You ever
Right.
see a Fomolean crag giant?
That one I don't think I've seen.
Look at that. 13 foot tall, blue skin, nasty. You want to see it? Go for it. The one on the left is the Aphasian crag giant, the half
Yeah.
giant. The one on the right, the blue guy, is the Fomorian. Now, what's interesting is that giant is presented the same way the Formian is in the second edition, which is that really misshapen, ugly motherfucker.
Oh yeah, the Fomorians.
Yeah, so it's kind of a combo deal there. I gotta. Oh, good God. I'm gonna go back to what TJ said because I have
Getting
nothing
back to the
say
main
to
topic.
Sleeping Quill except nay. Anyway,
We got to get back to the main topic
yeah. Now,
since we're getting to the tail of the show.
Lord of mercy, we are, aren't we? Well, at this point, we were gonna play some music, you and I.
Yep.
More about giants.
More about giants.
And then we have some stuff after the fact. You know what? This is scary. This conversation is starting to make me worry. Anyway, but
Just chomping at the bit to get that last joke in.
I'm telling you, man,
Champy. Horses champ.
we know. We were trying to avoid it.
All right, enough horsing around. Let's do what we're gonna do here.